The bystander effect. What is it? It is a phenomenon in which individuals who see or hear an emergency are less likely to seek help or to provide assistance when there are other people present. One thing that is important to note is that this does not mean that bystanders are not sympathetic to the victims. It is because their willingness to help is inhibited by the presence of other potential helpers. Perhaps the most notorious case in which the bystander effect was displayed was that of Kitty Genovese. She was a young woman who was murdered outside the apartment building where she resided at around 3 a.m. on March 13, 1964, in the Kew Gardens section of Queens, New York. Many of Kitty's neighbors heard her screaming, some people turned on their lights, peeked out of their windows, and one person even opened their apartment door and actually saw Kitty being attacked, but nobody did anything. The attack lasted between 30 to 40 minutes. By the time someone actually did call for help, it was unfortunately too late to save Kitty's life. Kitty's murder and its lack of intervention by so many of her neighbors spiked the curiosity of the public and the media. Could New Yorkers really be so callous and unconcerned for the well being of others that they would hear Kitty's screams and pleads for help and not do anything? Social psychologists Bib Latané and John Darley did not believe this was the correct explanation, and they set out to find out more. In their experiment, they presented an emergency situation to individuals who were either alone or with two passive others who had prior knowledge of the experiment and were instructed to remain indifferent. Subjects sat in a room filling out a questionnaire, and then smoke was introduced into the room through a small vent. The results of this experiment were the subjects who were alone were more likely to report the smoke. Only 1 out of 10 subjects who were in the presence of the two passive Confederates reported the smoke. One conclusion that can be drawn from this experiment is that a victim may be more likely to get help or an emergency to get reported when there are fewer people available to take action. In order to account for the effect, Latané and Darley propose a 5-step psychological process model. Step 1 is to notice a critical situation. Step 2, construe the situation as an emergency. Step 3, develop a feeling of personal responsibility. Step 4, believe he or she has the skills necessary to succeed. Step 5 is to reach a conscious decision to help. There are some factors which can help explain the bystander effect. Diffusion of responsibility. If an individual is alone, he or she is the only one responsible for coping with the emergency situation. When there are other people present, the individual feels their responsibility is lessened, and therefore they're less likely to help. Other explanations for the bystander effect is social inhibition. Individuals fear negative evaluation and they have a strong need to belong and be accepted. If they believe other people can see them, they try to minimize rejection and exclusion by inhibiting any actions that may potentially bring about those feelings. Pluralistic ignorance is conformity to the inaction of others. Individuals first check the reactions of people around them for help in interpreting a situation. Why did I pick this topic? I chose to do this presentation on the bystander effect because I was intrigued by it and I felt I could learn more about it by doing research to include in this project. Three things I would like my classmates to learn from my presentation are: the bystander effect can impact anyone. We may say we would definitely help if we were in that situation, but the truth is we can't really know unless we're in the situation. The bystander effect is not a show of apathy by the people witnessing the situation. Conformity is a factor in the bystander effect. Individuals in a crowd conform to the inaction of others. Thank you for watching.